the first quarter. I don't care what happens in the second quarter. I don't care what happens. We're going to win the ball game if it comes down to the last second of the ball. Because somebody in this room has got enough feeling, as collectively as a team to do it. We will continue.
You come over here to pick my...
I asked Dr. Henson to come in here. A little prayer. Before he does, I want to ask each one of you, are you prepared?
Yes.
Millions and millions of people would love to have your chance. And we're not here because we're not prepared. I want you to take 1 second or 10 seconds and go back and think about how much work you've put how much sacrifice you've made to be here. 12 men, you prepared.
Yes, sir.
Now, where you want to be, it's are you prepared? Dr. Henson.
Let's pray together. Our Heavenly Father, we thank Thee for the preparation that presents this opportunity. And I thank You, Lord, for every young man in this room, for every coach.
Bo Jackson meditating and concentrating, getting ready for the Cotton Bowl. So it's the Cotton Bowl. Bo Jackson and Auburn getting ready to take on the Aggies of Texas A&M. And we'll be right back.
Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on.
To everyone who works these holidays, a special salute from the trucks more people work with than any other make. When you need a truck you can lean on.
We are live from the Cotton Bowl in Dallas. It is Texas A&M against the Auburn Tigers, and Pat Dye and the Tigers are coming out onto the field here in Dallas. They are led by the mighty Bo Jackson, who will go down in the record books as one of the greatest running backs ever to play the game of college football. Happy New Year, everybody, and welcome to the Cotton Bowl. I'm Brent Musburger, along with Ara Parsegan and Jim Nance. For Jackson today, the task is a difficult one. Texas A&M is one of those young, improving teams. A&M wants to springboard from this classic into the preseason rankings next year. They would love to go in touted as one of the top 5 teams in all of college football. But to do that, they must stop Bo Jackson and the Auburn Tigers. And now the Aggies are coming onto the field. Their first Cotton Bowl since 1968 when they upset a mighty Alabama team. And they are led by a man who once played for Bear Bryant at Alabama, Jackie Sherrill. And the Aggies will come pouring onto this field, and the Cotton Bowl will explode. He has known some lean, tough times, but now he has risen to the top of the Southwest Conference, and his Aggies are primed for their biggest moment ever to take on the Auburn Tigers and the Heisman Trophy winner, Bo Jackson. Happy New Year, Coach Parsegan. And you know, you have been such a big part of the Cotton Bowl. You brought Notre Dame down here for a couple of great games against Texas. You broadcast the Doug Flutie game with Boston College last year. Let me ask you about these two teams. What about Auburn and A&M, Coach?
Well, this is one of the fun things about doing a bowl game. You get to go back and review what they've done the entire year. And the thing that really jumps out, Brent, is the versatility of college football and the contrast between these two teams. For example, Auburn is a running football team. They're going to keep that ball on the ground about 80% of the time. Ordinary passing game. Texas A&M is a very versatile, multiple offensive football team, but yet both teams have averaged about 400 yards during the course of the season.
Now, how about some of the players? For example, Bo Jackson is such an enormous star.
Well, he's Mr. Everything, no question about that. Heisman Trophy winner. This is what he's done for this year. 278 rushes, as you see, 17 touchdowns. But when you look at Texas A&M, which is an interesting contrast, they have a one-back offense. These two fullbacks, Anthony Toney and Roger Vick, 362 rushes, 20 touchdowns. So they can run the football.
Now, Aaron, there is a big difference, however, between these two offenses.
Exactly right, and that's at the quarterback spot. And the statistics bear that out. Pat Washington, as you see, a 45% passer. Murray, 58.6. But look at the difference in the touchdowns. 2 for Washington and 13. The outcome of this game could be determined by the performance of these two players.
Aaron, how about emotion in this Cotton Bowl Classic? Who do you think it favors right now?
Well, Texas A&M is coming in here on a real high. Great confidence. They've won the conference championship the first time that they've come into this game in 18 years. They really want to play. There was some question about how Auburn might come into this game because they were on a downer. They had lost the last second game to the traditional rival. But I watched them practice the last 2 days. They're up. They've got pride. They want to represent their conference, and they come from a winning program, Brent.
All right, so it is going to be Texas A&M and Auburn, and the captains at midfield. Texas Governor Mark White will flip the coin, and we will be back with the opening kickoff of this, the 50th annual Cotton Bowl Classic, live from Dallas, Texas, coming up on CBS in just a moment.
Today, millions of Americans are better off than ever before. Better off with expertise on how to manage cash, finance mortgages, and
CBS Sports presents the 50th Cotton Bowl Classic. Live from the Cotton Bowl in Dallas, Texas, it's the Auburn Tigers versus the Texas A&M Aggies. Sponsored by Today's Chevrolet, who invite you to live the style, performance, and fun of Chevrolet in '86. And by Mr. Goodwrench. No one knows your GM car better than Mr. Goodwrench. No one.
The spirit of Aggieland being played, and the entire Texas A&M team facing over toward its student body, one of the many traditions at that school. Between Texas A&M and Auburn. You know, there's another tradition at A&M. That's the 12th man to fill us in, and a Happy New Year to our colleague Jim Nance. Jim?
All right, well, thank you very much, Brent. You know, the story of the 12th man actually started right here in Dallas in 1922 when a Texas A&M student by the name of E. King Gill was asked to come out of the stands at halftime in a game against Central College and suit up for the second half. It's out of respect for E. King Gill's loyalty and spirit for Texas A&M that the Aggie student body and most of their fans will stand up for the duration of all of their football games. We'll be seeing that today as well. Now, last year, Jackie Sherrill took the 12th man a step further when he asked the student body to try out for the kickoff coverage unit. Over 350 tried out last year, including a couple of women. 200 tried out this year. And today we'll see 11 non-scholarship athletes on the field when Texas A&M has their kickoff coverage unit on the field. Part of the tradition here at Texas A&M. We're going to see it today. Let's go back upstairs. We're about ready to start. Here's Brent Musburger.
All right, Jim, thank you very much. We'll have to wait for a time to see those non-scholarship students because Auburn won the flip and elected to defer. So Texas A&M said, we will take the ball. And Chris Johnson has it teed up for Auburn. Rod Harris is the deep man, standing just inside the goal line for Jackie Sherrill and A&M. What a gorgeous day here in Dallas, Texas. You could not order up a more perfect setting for a college football game. They'll down it for the touchback. It'll be 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line. Let's take a look at this offensive lineup. Kevin Murray, keep him in mind, number 14. He's going to be a good one. Anthony Toney and Roger Vick. They will operate at fullback. Era told you about them. Keith Woodside, breakaway speed. Harry Johnson, more of a slashing inside runner when he comes in. Jeff Nelson led the Southwestern Conference. And Shea Walker, he's a Freddie Bolitnikoff type receiver. 1st and 10. A&M will alter its offensive sets. They will strike out of the eye on 1st down. And Kevin Murray will throw it out. Incomplete. He wanted his tight end, Ron Bertenstein, number 29. Well, Era, let's meet the offensive line. Where's the strength for Texas A&M?
Well, Webb, the tight end, is a very fine football player. The left tackle, Cheek, strong, very strong player. Wiley. Wilson is an outstanding center. Dawson, and of course Williams is really their all-American guy. He's an outstanding football player.
2nd and 10. The Aggies with a slot back, and instead they will run the fullback right straight ahead, and Gerald Robinson of Auburn, number 95, took him on. Now there is the War Eagle. One of the most frequently asked questions about Auburn: are they the Tigers or are they the War Eagles? They are the Tigers, and they yell War Eagle. In fact, when they get real riled up down there in Alabama, they'll yell War Damn Eagle. It is 3rd down and 8 yards to go for Texas A&M. Exchange, and Auburn has picked up the first turnover of this football game. An exchange fumble on 3rd down by A&M. The first break of this Cotton Bowl era goes to Auburn.
That's a big error, particularly early. I cannot tell whether or not Murray tried to pull out, but certainly the turnover could be very costly in this early going.
Harold Hallman, the nose guard, pouncing on the ball near the 20-yard line. We'll get a look at Bo Jackson, number 34, for the first time. He'll come up behind Tommy Agee. He is the I-back. He is set about 6 yards behind his quarterback. Off the draw, Washington's a throw on 1st down, and it's complete to Agee. Out of bounds at the 11-yard line.
There was a good reason for that pass. The anticipation by Auburn that Texas A&M would be up to stop the run, stop Jackson. It was a great misdirection pass. Agee was wide open. Watch Agee, the fullback, go into the right flat to fake to Jackson, pulls all the defenders, and he's wide open in the flat. That'll loosen up the defense. A great first play call.
Asbury was the defensive back, number 16, who took him out of bounds. 2nd and short, and they'll run that short man, Agee, and he powers right straight ahead against that A&M defense. And finally, Kip Corrington, number 10, brings him down. Let's take a look at this offense for Auburn that has tried to take Pat Dye into the end zone. Washington is their quarterback. He began the season number 3. Agee just carried it. He's the fullback. Mr. Everything, Bo Jackson. Now he is an H-back, Ron Middleton, or an extra tight end. Trey Gaines also returns punts. Freddie Wagan, red hair, just like Terry Beasley. Jeff Parks, 82, he'll be in the NFL too. Now Middleton, the H-back in motion. They like to run Jackson straight ahead, and he squeezes on in for the touchdown. Bo Jackson has done it for Auburn. To attempt the extra point. Kick is up, and it is Auburn 7, Texas A&M nothing.
Take a look here from the side. Watch Jackson thrust into the end zone here. Really puts on the power, stretches marches over the line and gets the touchdown. A great start for Auburn, and not the way Texas A&M would have wanted to start it.
Watch Tamburella, number 55, the center for Auburn. He moves over and helps out as they double-team the nose. Bo Jackson then cut back to his daylight, squeezed into the end zone. The fumble set up the touchdown. In only 3 plays, 21 yards, Auburn leads.
He's your first child, we want to be there. It's your new house, we want to be there. You're working hard to make your dreams come true. Dean Witter wants to dream them with you.
No matter what you do in life, Dean Witter will help you plan your investments like no one else's. Because you are like no one else. We'll talk about you, your needs, your goals. Whether it be for a retirement program, a tax savings plan, or managing your investments for the future.
No matter who you are, no matter what you do, you're special to your family. You're important to us, it's true. 'Cause everybody is somebody at Dean Witter.
A member of the Sears Financial Network.
Tonight, a reluctant date with her boss could land Mary in the middle of a romantic triangle.
Frank, you put out a daily newspaper. How could you not know what day it is?
Bo Jackson, the Heisman Trophy winner, who has scored his team's first touchdown. He had a lot of help up front, Era.
Yes, watch the right guard and the center Tamburello double up right here, and the fullback comes through and makes a great block on the linebacker. Take a look. You see A.G. come right through number 30 on 65 Kelm, throws the block, and there's that daylight that Jackson found.
Now, I mentioned the weather here in Dallas this afternoon, and of course, for a football coach or a quarterback, the most critical element is the wind. And here this afternoon, there is a 5 to 10 mile an hour wind out of the west, so it is at the back of Chris Johnson. And that's why he took that first kickoff out of the end zone. Rod Harris, the wide receiver, is now set back at the goal line, and he moves over more toward the right hash. And another powerful kickoff, a touchback. A&M's second possession. They'll come up at the 20-yard line and put it in play, trailing 7-0. Era, how does that affect the mood of this game? Auburn scoring quickly after a turnover.
Well, it's not the way Texas A&M obviously wanted to start. That kind of a turnover really puts a disadvantage. Although the opening series by Auburn's defense, I thought, was very, very good.
Era, they have already switched running backs at A&M. Roger Vick, 43, comes in. Harry Johnson, 21. He's over in a wing, and now Johnson comes in motion. Here is Vick, straight ahead behind the right side of that offensive line. Let's take a look at the Auburn defense, Era, and how do they stack up front?
Well, it's very interesting about this defense as you go through here. Rocker, Hallman, and Williams, the 2 tackles and the nose man, are the 3 leading tacklers. Very unusual for a defensive team where the 3 down linemen are the leading tacklers.
2nd and 6 against that defense. They pitch to Vicks. He busts 1 tackle and gets out near the 29. Harold Hallman, the nose guard, and Russ Carricker, the linebacker, doubled up on him. So it'll be 3rd and short for A&M. And the rest of that defense, Era, what about the deep backs for Auburn?
Well, you see that Carricker and Phillips are the 2 linebackers, and then their strong secondary man, of course, is Powell, their free safety. But all of them respond well to the run. A little weak on pass defense in some instances.
3rd and 2, and Murray throws high, incomplete. Harry Johnson was the intended receiver out of the backfield. Kevin Murray off to a bit of a shaky start, and Jackie Sherrill will attempt to calm him down.
Well, it's not a good start for them. Here you see Murray right in the pocket. He gets excellent protection, plenty of time to throw the ball. But he overshoots his receiver, who was open and would have given him a first down, and continued possession of the ball.
Todd Shantz is number 4. You're looking from behind him. Deep for Auburn. Trey Gaines lets it bounce. It takes an A&M roll. Down near the 25-yard line. It'll be down right there. 1st and 10 for Bo Jackson and friends, who lead in this Cotton Bowl 7-0. We'll come back and take another look at the Heisman Trophy winner in just a moment.
Apache. There's nothing hotter in the air or on the ground for technicians like Crew Chief Jack Holt. Because if you want to learn high-tech aviation skills, you can't find a better classroom.
The Apache has advanced everything. Fiber optics, onboard computers, a TV for target acquisition, and the gunner can aim just by moving his head. Talk about hot. This bird can make tracks at 200 miles an hour.
This is Lane Apache. Meet at Rally Point.
Soaring to tomorrow, flying high and free. Now I'm going places I never thought I'd be.
This is Lane Apache. Rejoin on me.
It's all come together here inside of me. Be all that you can be.
Now that's cool. No, that's hot.
Find your future in the Army.
You don't get to the top by looking back. You go for it. With all the power you can muster, all the confidence, all the poise. And you know that when you finally make your move, you're going to go all the way. Cavalier, for people who know exactly where they're going.
And now get 7.9% financing on new Chevy Cavaliers.
The men in the trenches for Auburn, a big factor.